Hello and welcome to the Talk Villa podcast. I'm your host Samit Paul, and in this episode we're looking back at yet another Aston Villa comeback win after we secured a 2-1 victory over Chelsea on Saturday evening at Stamford Bridge. It was Ollie Watkins who emerged as our match-winning hero on this occasion as he came off the bench in the second half to score a brace and seal all 3 points. That's now a whopping 11 consecutive wins for Villa across all competitions, 8 on the bounce in the Premier League, while we've now picked up a staggering 18 points from losing positions in the league so far this season. As with every game, I'll be discussing my 5 key talking points as we have a deeper dive into the win over Chelsea. But first, let's have a listen to the boss, Unai Emery, and his thoughts on our win as he spoke to Villa TV after the game.
Good evening, very happy and very thankful for the supporters because we need them and they are with us and of course transmitting the energy, and we are here as well trying to play for them. And how the players respond on the field is really fantastic. The first half we struggled. We were not getting the rhythm to keep ball possession, to try to get their box frequently. But we needed defense and we needed big resilience. And we were being brilliant defensively. We conceded 1 goal, only the corner we conceded they scored. But we needed the second half a little bit change something. But change something with the same studio we had the first half, and we started getting better the second half, and of course we needed fresh legs. But how we got our momentum and the players showed as well their mentality to exploit their qualities, really fantastic. And of course to beat here Chelsea is very, very difficult. We got it, and we are happy, but still being keeping balance and of course trying to set each match with our objective, and now is the next challenge on Tuesday against Arsenal. It's a good example because with the players in the starting 11 we have one plan, and we must follow the same game plan in 90 minutes with fresh legs, with being impact like they did, and trying to use as well our versatility with some different players. And the example today, how they got impact for the team, was really fantastic.
That was Unai Emery speaking to Villa TV after our 2-1 win over Chelsea. So on to my 5 key talking points then, and where better to start than with Ollie Watkins after his decisive impact off the bench to inspire us to a win this weekend. There was no sulking, there was no moping from Watkins after being benched. We saw last season that he was frustrated and disappointed after being dropped to the bench at a critical point in our season. But on this occasion, an unrelenting desire to deliver for himself and for the team. As soon as he was introduced in the 58th minute, you could see that he came onto the pitch with a point to prove. That 4-minute period before he actually scored, I thought his movement, his hold-up play was excellent, and that was massive in wrestling back some control in the game. Villa were really poor in the first half, which we'll come on to. We struggled to retain possession. We didn't really have a presence leading the line to hold the ball up and relieve some of that pressure. But I thought Watkins was excellent at doing that after coming on. Then you had the run, the touch, and then the strength to create the opening and put himself in the position to get a bit of good luck for his first, which was excellent. Good play from Rodgers and other players in the build-up as well. There was nothing fortuitous about his second. It was a brilliant header into the corner of the net, which put us ahead. And I hope this will now be the spark for Watkins to really find some consistent goal-scoring form. If you add an informed Watkins scoring goals as a fresh dynamic to our attack, to go with the other positives that we're seeing from the team, that's only going to make us more difficult to play against. And hopefully Watkins can now kick on from this point, get a bit of confidence from the impact that he's made off the bench. You'd imagine he'll start against Arsenal on Tuesday. So hopefully that's a bit of momentum for him to take into that game and keep this run of form going. On to the second point, and that is the genius that is Unai Emery delivers again. Ollie Watkins described him as a tactical genius in his post-match interview. And that's a week on from Morgan Rodgers labelling the Villa boss a genius too. And it's really hard to disagree with the pair of them. Admittedly, we can't just ignore the first half. I thought we were really poor. We deservedly trailed at the break. We couldn't retain possession. We came under intense pressure, waves of pressure time and time again. We didn't have any rhythm, control, quality, tempo to our play. And there definitely needs to be an improvement in that regard to avoid having to produce these comebacks consistently week in and week out. It's not sustainable in my opinion. I think the resilience is off the charts with this team, but to ask them to keep digging deep and having to produce comebacks is going to eventually take its toll. So we have to start games and do better in the first half, but credit where credit's due. Another brilliant comeback. And that starts with Emery and his changes in the second half, both in terms of personnel and tactically. I thought they were absolutely fundamental to the outcome of this game. Our substitutes gave us renewed energy and quality, and I thought the intricate positioning and the roles that were assigned to Watkins, Rodgers, Sancho and Tielemans in particular. You saw Watkins deployed in that more central area, Rodgers and Sancho stretching the pitch out wide, Tielemans pushed into the more advanced number 10 position, and I think that really exposed some vulnerabilities in Chelsea's defence, allowed us to expose the space in the final third and really start to threaten and cause them problems. Credit to the players, they are the ones that went on the pitch and executed that plan, but it starts with Emery, and he continues to prove that he's operating at an elite level of coaching. And so it's no surprise that the players continue to praise him publicly, and hopefully he can continue to find the answers when we're in trouble and when we need something to change. The third point is Amadou Onana's presence being crucial in our comeback. Now, as I say, every player involved in this game and in previous weeks all deserve credit for their contributions to our winning run. But in this one, particularly our substitutes, I thought they were crucial in the second half turnaround. Watkins will, of course, receive the bulk of the praise, and rightly so, because he was so decisive with his goals. I thought Sancho put in an encouraging cameo appearance as he looks to now step up, deliver in the second half of the campaign in a more prominent role. And as I say with Watkins, if we can get Watkins scoring goals and firing, Sancho starts to build some confidence and momentum and takes on a bigger role and gets to a point where he's an integral piece in Emery's tactical and attacking setup, then that's another fresh dynamic to add to our team that can hopefully help us sustain this incredible run that we're on. But I think Amadou Onana's impact in particular can't be overlooked. Similarly to Watkins, there was no moping, there was no sulking over being benched. He's had a strong run in the team in recent weeks. He's impressed, he's done really well. But there has to be a need for rotation. There has to come a time where players need to rest. Emery needs to give others opportunities. Onana was rested for this one, and things were shifted around with Tielemans dropping deeper, which I thought was the right call prior to the game kicking off. But in terms of Onana, he gave us presence and physicality in midfield. He helped grab control of the game to give us much needed foothold. I thought he was really important with retaining possession, protecting the back line as a shield in front of them. You saw him heading clearances from corners. I just thought he was excellent in intercepting and breaking Chelsea's play up. We saw that in the build-up to our first goal, which sparked the move to set up Watkins for his goal. And I thought Onana was just generally excellent in finally giving us that foothold and control in midfield, alleviating that pressure and giving us an opportunity to get out and play. He'll be needed on Tuesday with Boubacar Kamara now suspended, but there's no qualms over him being able to slot into that role and playing at a really high level, because I thought he was excellent in this one as well. The fourth point is 11 consecutive wins, which is only the third time we've achieved such a run in club history. As I say, this is now club record equaling numbers that we're putting up after an 11th win on the bounce across all competitions, and that's 8 wins on the bounce in the Premier League. It's an incredible run with so many incredible moments and memorable moments, and there is real belief that we can extend it further. To reiterate the point, though, I think a lot of fans are making is that we should and have to soak up every moment of this run. We're hopefully in the midst of a really special run with Emery taking us to new heights. We don't know what this season will ultimately deliver, but the memories and moments that this team and Emery are giving us are very, very special and so enjoyable. You've got as I say, the elite tactical intelligence of the Villa boss himself, the resilience, the mentality, the relentless pursuit of wins and success from this entire squad. It's just a remarkable period to experience as a Villa fan. Forget all the outside noise. It's all about the next game and finding a way to win. And that's what they've been doing consistently now for weeks and weeks. On to the fifth and final point, and that this was a crucial win in our Champions League qualification battle. Now, it does seem as though every pundit has to deliver a hot take literally every week on anointing us as a title contender or pretender. You've seen that consistently in recent weeks amidst this winning run of ours, that people are now saying, oh, are Villa genuine title contenders? Can we now say that they are in the title race? This and that constantly. You just know as soon as its winning run comes to an end, when it eventually does, and particularly if it is at Arsenal on Tuesday, that the squad's not big enough, they're not real contenders. We knew that this was going to come, that they were eventually going to fall short. And you know that sort of narrative is just going to completely change the minute that we end up losing a game or even drawing one. So for me, I think in the bigger picture, this was a significant win in our Champions League qualification hope. We've got another 20 games to go this season, so a lot can and probably will change between now and May in pursuit of that specific objective as well. But to put 10 points between ourselves and 5th place Chelsea at this stage of the campaign, 18 games in, is a major, major boost. It's hopefully a buffer and a cushion that we can maintain in the coming weeks and months, even when this winning run comes to an end. So it's a massive result against a direct rival for that battle for a top 4, top 5 finish. And if we can continue to maintain that gap over the chasing pack while also trying to set the pace alongside City and Arsenal, the longer this goes on, the more our position strengthens in that 3rd place spot. And ultimately, the objective at the moment is Champions League football next season. And hopefully we can deliver that if we can continue this brilliant run of ours. Now, it is Arsenal next on Tuesday. We had a double blow in this one with Matty Cash and Boubacar Kamara both getting booked, which means they'll be suspended for that game. Question marks over the changes that Emery will make. I think the Kamara one is pretty straightforward. As I mentioned, I think Amadou Onana just comes straight back in. Partners Yuri Tielemans in the deeper pivot. And then you've got McGinn, Rodgers and Buendia perhaps in the final third behind Watkins. The right back one is a bit of a more difficult selection headache from Emery, I think. Losing Cash is a massive blow given the consistency that he's been playing with and how important he's been defensively and going forward for us. I don't think you put Andres Garcia straight into the team given his lack of football this season. That would be a mistake. I think a lot rides on Pau Torres, whether or not he's ready to return from injury, because then you've got arguably a more simple option of either shifting one of Konza or Lindelof across to right back, partnering the other with Pau in the middle. But I think the more likely solution that we'll go with is Lamar Bogard showing his versatility, his quality to slot into right back for the game. And hopefully it will be difficult, there's no doubt about it. But hopefully he can slot in there and do a decent job defensively to keep things tight. And hopefully, he can do a good job. So what were your talking points from our win over Chelsea? How confident are you heading into the Arsenal game as we hunt for a 12th consecutive win? If you're listening on YouTube, leave your comments below. For those listening to the pod via Apple, Spotify or other means, head over to talkvilla.substack.com and get involved in the conversation over there. Let me know your thoughts on the selection headache for Emery as well. Who would you start instead of Kamara in midfield? And who replaces Cash at right back? And what are your thoughts on the ongoing talk over us being title contenders this season, as well as our Champions League qualification hopes? Let me know. Leave your comment below. So that's a wrap on this episode of the Talk Villa podcast. A big thank you for taking the time to have a listen. Please subscribe to the pod or channel depending on where you're listening. That's either on Apple Podcasts, Spotify or YouTube. Give the episode a like or leave a review if you've enjoyed it. You can also sign up to the Talk Villa Plus newsletter on Substack for ad-free Villa news, opinions and analysis delivered directly to you. And there's also an option of a paid subscription for bonus content. All the details will be in the description of this podcast, but for more, please go to talkvilla.substack.com and subscribe. So that's now 11 consecutive wins across all competitions, 8 on the spin in the Premier League, and we remain in 3rd place, just 3 points behind Arsenal, while we keep building that lead over the chasing pack for a Champions League qualification spot. It is Arsenal away next on Tuesday night, and it's hoped that we can come away with a positive result to keep this excellent run of form going. I'll be back on Wednesday night with another pod to discuss that game and any other big talking points that either come from that or any transfer news or any big news that comes out from Villa in the coming days. But enjoy the win, enjoy the run, Villains, and until we speak on Wednesday, up the Villa.